Hey everyone, so winter is already here and the season of the soups with it. So I decided to make it for this episode a soup, and the first soup, of course, Ukrainian, you know, beetroot soup with vegetables. So today we're going to make my version of beetroot soup, how I like to eat it, and I'm going to give you also a tip on how to make it vegetarian, or if you want, also with meat. Make sure to check the description below on how to cut those vegetables and the method of cooking. Everything in the description below. So now we can straight away jump into the cooking process. So now in the cooking station we have a big pot already on the heat, 8 out of 9 electric stove power, 8 out of 9. And just to put it a little bit into perspective, each family has its own recipe for borscht. If it's by region, country, Russia, Ukraine, Belarus. And this guy, he was from the Soviet Union. He traveled Soviet Union and wrote traditional recipes. In this book of his, you can find 25 versions of the same recipe of borscht from different countries, from different regions in the Soviet Union. So you can take my recipe into consideration, taking a couple of parts, or maybe taking it whole, trying it at home, and I'm going to show you two versions of it, a vegetarian and a meat version. Well, the meat version, we're going to start with the meat, sauteing the meat. We usually, in my family or in my part of Ukraine, we're using pork for it, but you can use also beef. Small cubes of beef, marinated with oil, salt, and a lot of black pepper. You saute it, and after that you're starting to add the other ingredients. So we're going to start with oil and then the onion. Now we're going to caramelize the onion, and when it's nicely caramelized, we're going to add the garlic. After adding the garlic, we're going to give it another 2 to 3 minutes to release the flavors of the garlic, and we're going to continue with the carrot. After the carrot is already sauteed, we're going to add raw shredded beets. I'm using raw beets because in my opinion you're not losing all the flavor to the water that you usually boil in the beets, and this way you have more flavor in the borscht and also more color. All the color that is going to be released from the beets is going to stay in the borscht itself. So the next day when you eat in the borscht, you will see it's becoming really red. When I'm adding the beets, usually what I'm doing, mixing it, adding the black pepper, mixing it again, and closing it, just to give it a little bit, like 3 to 4 minutes to steam and let all the juices to come out. Now we're going to open it carefully with the steam, mix it, and the smell already all over. So now we're going to add tomatoes and tomato paste. At this point, when we add in the tomato paste, let a little bit the tomato paste and everything to saute as well. So we decrease a little bit the acidity in the tomato paste and the tomatoes themselves, and let them caramelize a little bit. Now we're going to add bay leaf and peppercorn, and we're going to add cold water. Or if you want, you can use cold vegetable stock, but in my opinion, vegetable stock or water in this case is not going to make a big difference. Why? Because most of the vegetables here are raw and they have a lot of flavor to release. And if we're going to add vegetable stock, you know, the flavors are going to combine and it's just a waste of vegetables for the vegetable stock. Vegetable stock need to be used when it's necessary to add a little bit of vegetable flavor. Here we have a lot of raw vegetables and they have enough of flavor inside themselves and everything that we keep in the pot. So, in my opinion, add just water. And close. In this step, it's very important to put cold water or cold stock if you still want to go with the cold stock. Why? Because the beetroot and the carrots are raw and they need time to cook. So if you're going to put hot water on raw vegetables, especially vegetables that need long time of cooking, the outside is going to become mash and the inside is going to be raw. You're still going to have chunks. So better to put cold water and let the vegetables and the water to come to boil together and cook together. When the borscht is coming to boil, I'm going to decrease the temperature from 8 to 5. After that, we're going to add the potatoes and give the potatoes to cook between 10 to 15 minutes until they are soft. When they are soft, we're going to add the cabbage and we're going to add beans. In my family, we like to put beans in borscht because it's a good substitute for meat and iron and all of this stuff when we like to make vegetarian soup. And those beans are already almost cooked. Usually I'm buying them dry, soak them overnight in water, cooking them half the way through, then portion them into bags and freeze them and use them whenever I want. So in this point, those one already defrosted, we're going to put them when we're going to put the cabbage. And this moment, very important, when the borscht is boiling and even before it a little bit, take a ladle and clean the excess foam and the oils. If you're doing it with the meat, usually it's going to be much more fat on the top. Here we're doing mostly vegetables, so it's going to be less. And in this moment, we can add the potatoes. The potatoes I'm usually keeping in water, and before adding them, I'm changing the water. Now we're going to cook it for 10 to 15 minutes without the lid, so the water is not going to come to boil too fast and the potatoes still need the time to cook. And then we're going to add the cabbage, dill and parsley, and of course the beans. Then we're going to let it cook another 5 minutes. Taste, salt, pepper, make a correction, let it chill to room temperature, then you can put it in the fridge and serve it the next day. This moment, it's almost done. We're going to add the cabbage, all of it. This looks a lot, but no, it's not. Beans and the herbs, all of them. Beautiful. Mix it, let it cook without the lid for another 5 minutes, turn it off, let it chill. The next day, we're going to serve it. So, everyone, so now it's the next day and the soup is ready. And now we're going to serve it. So, what is left to do? Just warm it up and serve. But we have a fresh coriander bread that we're going to warm it up, which is really traditional to eat it with. And also, the sour cream. The bread is out of the toaster, soup is warm, sour cream is ready. So now, just time to play. Come closer, take a look. And now, what is left to do? Just to enjoy. So, if you like traditional recipes and you like this recipe, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe because more of those recipes are coming up every week. And, of course, thank you very much for watching. I'm Andre and this is ThinkOFood.